who's actually getting the most out of the Broil King Baron 590 Pro? Is it a game changer for the backyard chef who wants both propane power and the option to smoke with pellets, or is it an over-engineered piece of metal that will sit idle for most families? And, for the everyday buyer who just wants reliable meals on the weekend, does the price tag make sense? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first heard about a grill that tries to be both a classic propane setup and a pellet smoker, my first thought was sounds like a compromise that could end up satisfying no one. I've spent a few evenings watching my friends set up their own multi-fuel rigs, and the biggest pain point they mentioned was the extra hardware and the learning curve that comes with switching fuels. That's why I dug into the Baron 590's design, read the specs, and tried to picture how it would sit in a typical suburban backyard where space, budget, and time are all limited. The most obvious selling point is the 5-burner layout paired with a side burner and a rear rotisserie. For anyone who likes to sear steaks on one side, simmer a sauce on the side burner, and then throw a whole chicken on the rotisserie without ever opening the lid, that configuration is a real convenience. In practice, I can see a weekend scenario where you start the night with a quick stir-fry on the side burner while the rotisserie is already turning a spatchcocked turkey. The heat from the main burners stays steady enough to give the bird an even golden skin, and the side burner doesn't interfere with the main cooking zone because it's isolated on the opposite side of the grill. What really differentiates the Baron 590 is the pellet-ready capability. The grill comes with an IQ control panel, illuminated knobs, and an electronic ignition, so lighting up the propane is as simple as pushing a button. When you add the optional pellet module, sold separately, the same burners can be fed with pellets, turning the whole unit into a smoker without needing a second piece of equipment. For a grill enthusiast who has already built a small collection of pellets, hickory for ribs, apple for pork, this means you can switch from a fast sear to a low and slow smoke without moving the meat to a different grill. In a real-world setting, imagine you're hosting a backyard barbecue and a neighbor asks if you can throw a few brisket slabs on the smoker. With the pellet kit attached, you can do that on the same grill that's already cooking burgers, saving you both time and space. That flexibility, however, comes with a hidden trade-off. The pellet module isn't included in the box, so you're looking at an additional expense that can push the total outlay well past $2,000. If you're only interested in propane, you're essentially paying for a feature you'll never use. Even for those who plan to add the kit later, you have to carve out space for the extra hopper and manage 2 different fuel sources, which adds a layer of complexity that not every casual griller wants to juggle. The learning curve is real. You need to adjust the IQ settings when you switch fuels, and the rotisserie speed can feel a bit sluggish compared to dedicated rotisserie units. Another practical consideration is the grill's footprint. At 5 burners, a side burner, and a rear rotisserie, the Baron 590 demands a sizable patio or backyard spot. If you're living in a condo with a modest balcony, the sheer size could be a deal-breaker. The grill's stainless steel grids are reversible, which gives you a flat surface for delicate fish on one side and a ribbed surface for grill marks on the other, but swapping them out isn't a quick click and go. You'll have to clean and flip the grids when you change cooking styles, which adds a few minutes to the prep time. On the upside, the build quality feels solid. The stainless steel grids are heavy enough to stay put even when you're rotating a 12-pound roast on the rear spit. The illuminated knobs are more than just a visual cue, they actually help you keep track of the flame level when you're grilling after sunset, and the electronic ignition eliminates the fiddly match lighting that older grills demand. The 15-year top-to-bottom warranty is one of the longest you'll find in this segment, which tells you that Broil King expects the chassis, burners, and control system to hold up through years of seasonal use. So, who should walk away with a purchase decision? If you're a seasoned backyard chef who loves to experiment with both direct flame and indirect smoke, who frequently cooks for a crowd, and who values a rotisserie for large cuts, the Baron 590 gives you a single platform that can handle all those tasks. The ability to add a pellet kit later means you can start with propane now and upgrade as your cooking style evolves, spreading out the cost over time. Families that host weekend gatherings, or anyone who wants to keep the side burner